Welcome to Big Hearted Indy, the Citizen 7 podcast about genuine friendship, big-hearted service, and forming whole leaders in Indianapolis. Join your hosts Greg Enas, Don Palmer, and Chris Spangle every episode as they sit down with men who are building, mentoring, serving, and leading across our city. If you want deeper friendships, a clearer sense of purpose, and practical examples of leadership shaped by service, you're in the right place. We're your hosts, Greg Enas, Chris Spangle, and Don Palmer is lounging on a beach, hopefully relaxing somewhere right now where it's warm.
Good for Don.
The weather is hopefully stable. Each episode, we sit down with men who are building, mentoring, serving, and leading across our city. And if you want a deeper friendship with other men, a clearer sense of purpose, and practical examples of leadership shaped by service, you're in the right place. And today, our guests are Mark and David Muselman. We'll have to figure out who was the older. Who's older, Mark or David?
He's got
Mark.
that.
Okay,
Yep.
so
got that.
we're here with.
I'm older than you.
Yeah.
But,
We're here with Mark and David Muselman. We have to go in birth order. I'm the oldest. I got your back. They are two Taylor grads. They are builders. They are two great guys. One of them's under 35, and we'll talk a little bit about that.
Both of us are under 35.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't. I
Mark's
just see
more mature.
I just see
I'm
Dave.
I'm halfway to 64.
We got to get him involved in that group.
I just see him on the announcements. All right, so Greg, why don't you tell us a little bit about Mark and David, why they're here, and why you wanted to talk to them? What can we look forward to today?
Thanks, Chris. Don Palmer, by the way, is not actually lounging on the beach. He's trying to improve his golf game on the links and was actually embarrassed to be here because he knew Mark Muselman has a much lower handicap than he.
Oh.
I don't know if that's true.
And did not want to appear with a young Turk like Mark on the links.
I don't think I've got a lower handicap, but I just got fitted for new clubs, and I'm tracking the shipping on FedEx.
Okay.
They're flying in from Carlsbad, California, so I hope they come like tomorrow. So
that's
I'm
great.
fired up about
Okay, well, we'll have you back to show those off. Custom made from dear Carlsbad. Hey, it is a joy really to have both you guys here. I have loved you guys from the first time I met you. Mark, I met you first because indeed you are a few years older. We'll go into that more. David, just gotten to love and know you. You're at Polk Stables.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you might even let your brother come down and visit you, but we try to keep that to a low level.
I'm trying to recruit him to come down.
That would even
down
be
south,
better.
you know?
But
Yeah,
we'll
David,
get a little bit.
Pull that real close, please.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll get into that a bit more, but I've always wanted to get two brothers on the show because we've never had brothers who are friends, who are on mission together, who share a common faith, and who have impacted my life and the lives of many folks already in the city. And so this is a unique combination, and I'm just thrilled to be here with you today. So with that, I thought we'd start off just by introducing yourselves and tell us a bit. And you can go back and forth on this of your upbringing up in northern Indiana and what that was like, the rest of your family, and then what brought you into Indianapolis.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having us, Greg. It's always fun to be together. And this is a unique and cool podcast in the sense that, I've been calling you and texting you, and I'm like, Greg, you really did this well. Hey, give us an outline. And you're like, nope, I'm not doing it.
No questions.
No questions. Because we're going to grip it and rip it today.
Right
and so
on.
I'm excited to be here. And also it's so cool what you and Don are doing with Citizen 7. 1,500 men involved here in the city. And it's extraordinary. So it's an honor to be a small part. But I'm Mark Muselman. I'm 32, still under 35. And I own, manage, and build apartments. 2016 grad from Taylor University. Met my wife there, Natalie. We have two daughters. Mary Claire will be 3 in June, and Caroline is 1 on Wednesday.
Oh, happy birthday, Caroline.
Yeah.
Just had a big birthday party for her.
We
too.
did on Saturday. So my family was here, the Muselmans, and my in-laws, the Johnson family. So it was great. And so two girls moved to Indianapolis in 2016 after graduation. We can get into that. But from Bern, Indiana, small town, about 30 minutes just south of Fort Wayne. So that's where Dave and I grew up, and my folks still live there. And we say everything in life comes back to Bern, Indiana, or Taylor University.
Oh, Wow. Okay. We need to dive into that.
Oh, happy
'cause
to.
You made quite an audacious claim there.
Yeah. I'm happy to dive in and provide some data for you on that, Greg. Go ahead, David.
Go ahead, David.
So I'm David Muselman. I am 6 years younger than my brother, Mark, here. He's my best friend. I love Mark. This is so fun, Greg. Honored to be on this show today. It really means a lot. Also from Bern, obviously. Followed in my parents' and siblings' footsteps. Went to Taylor University. Moved down to Indianapolis in 2022. And it's been an honor to get involved in C7. And I just think life's all about people. And you and Don have done an excellent job of that. And thanks for all you guys do in Indianapolis as well.
Okay, Chris, fire away.
I feel like you should promote Bern. Tell us a little bit about Bern because it's a very unique city in Indiana.
Yeah. Want me to go? And then you add in.
Go for it.
Town of 4,000 people, a lot of Amish.
10,000 Amish.
10,000. The Amish are fantastic. So we went to, the Amish go to school through 8th grade. So I had like all these Amish in my classes through 8th grade. And it's a Swiss community. Bern has the largest clock tower in North America, and it's a replica of the one in Bern, Switzerland.
Oh, cool.
And I'd also claim, maybe this is a hot take, but I think it's a fact. It's the furniture capital of Indiana. So a lot of furniture manufacturing and, furniture stores. And a lot of these small towns are dying in Indiana, the Midwest. So you have to have something that you really, put your flag in the sand for. And Bern's really done that with the Swiss heritage, with the clock tower. And we have, we're replicating the Carmel Chris Kindle Market.
How cool.
And so it's growing. Our sister, Sarah, has a booth there, and she brought all this stuff in from Europe, which was really cool. And I think next year, what's the goal? How many folks do we want to get? 5,000 people to come next December.
It's going to be huge.
We'll say 10.
It's the largest Chris Kindle market outside of Carmel.
Yeah,
that's right.
In Indiana.
At the same time frame.
All December.
From
Do you have an ice skating rink up too?
We're working on it.
Yeah,
that's so good.
And
I love the Bern clock tower.
And
that's so cool.
And it's like Don, what you and Greg, what you and Don do so well is bringing people together.
Right.
That's kind of that's relationships are life's currency. Return on collision, bringing people together, and that's what this clock tower has done. And we always Mitch Daniels quote: "Dogs don't bark at parked cars."
Right.
When that was, I forget when it was built, but I was in high school, late junior high. So late, probably from 2008. It was probably around 2008 to 2009, I think, give or take. And I remember there were people that were complaining in Bern. And it's a good lesson that our dad told us. He didn't explicitly say dogs don't bark at parked cars, but when you want to do something, when you have momentum, people are going to be chirping. And they're like, oh, why would Bern spend $7 million or whatever, $10 million to build this clock tower? They thought it was taxpayer money. It wasn't a dollar of taxpayer money.
Wow.
And it was all privately funded. And that talks more about Bern. Bern has incredibly generous people that, get behind the town and give. They live with their hands wide open instead of fists clenched. And it's changed. And I think that's what differentiates Bern, because we do have the clock tower. We have the generosity of all these people that have really, helped it stand out.
Mark, that's so beautiful. Spangle, note that for IBJ. And Nate, this needs to be touted across the board.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Okay, so please note that.
David's been working on that with Nate a little bit, right?
David, go for it.
Absolutely. And another thing to add about Bern is it's just the best place to grow up. I think Mark and I don't want to speak for Mark, but it's an unbelievable place. Everybody knows you. That's probably the pro. That's probably the con at the same time. But it's unbelievable. I mean, Mark and I here, we would not be able to play 3 sports in Carmel, Indiana. At Carmel High School.
I get cut.
Mark might be able to play 2 sports, but I don't know about 3 sports.
No, I couldn't play any.
So what were your sports? Underwater basket weaving?
Yeah, exactly.
I say we're mathletes, not athletes.
What 3 sports were you stars? Were you the center on the basketball
Mark
team?
was a football alum. I played tennis, basketball, and golf, but Mark always goes to the football.
He's full of it.
He's full of it.
No, I didn't play football. I played my freshman year and got the snot kicked out of me.
Yeah,
these seniors, because my sister was older, she was buddies with all these high school players. And this should be illegal, but there was this drill called sitting duck. And the guys Sarah's buddies, Chris Stutzman, Heath Mosier, all these guys, 10 yards away, and they'd make the freshmen stand there, and they'd hit me as hard as they could. So that's maybe why it's there's days where
I remember those days too. That's so good. Hey, before we dive in a bit more in your family, but you mentioned the Amish leave school at 8th grade.
Yeah.
Since this is about friendship, what friendships did you establish with the Amish, and what did you maintain even though they didn't come back to school in high school?
I'll let David take how many Amish friends you still have, David?
Okay.
They're not listening because they don't have technology. So.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Okay. Yeah. So
David took one to prom. David took.
True. True. That's
what was her name again?
Stop.
She was cute.
There was 3 Amish folks in my grade.
You took all 3 to prom.
Once they leave the 8th grade, it's very difficult to maintain friendships with them because they don't have cell phones.
But then it comes full circle.
And you see them at Swiss Days. I took my girlfriend to Swiss Days, Madison.
The Amish one?
No, stop. It's crazy. Madison, I took her back to Swiss Days in Bern. It's our annual festival in the summer. And I run into a girl that I went to high school with, and she's like 25 with 5 kids, maybe 26 with 5 kids. And they get married young. And they go on, and they're great people. I don't really keep in touch with them, but I do projects. They're unbelievable construction guys.
Right.
And the guys I work with are fantastic. And I've actually been to their house. I've rode buggies with them. Mm-hmm. He wants to host me for some sirloins. He wants me to bring all my Indianapolis friends back to Bern and host an Amish dinner.
Right.
So if anybody wants an Amish dinner in Bern, Indiana, let me know. It's a
cool
list.
experience.
No, that's right. We got to note that in the show notes
Spangle,
for sure.
Yeah, he would love that. So it does go full circle. Just to add one thing.
Come on.
Like they kind of did. They were, they're so focused on. They would go to school, and then all the kids work in their family construction business or on the farm. Mm-hmm. So they don't. It's not like they're going on the lake and going tubing. It's a little different.
That's right.
Life, but. It is cool now as we're real estate developers on both David's projects and mine. It's heavy Amish. And that's kind of been a differentiator for us in our business is having Amish folks on the job, and they do high quality work. You can trust them. And so it is fun, even though we live in Indy now, to have that common denominator of.
Right. But you landed those Amish contractors through your relationships out of Bern?
Not necessarily.
No, just that that's the community to go to for high quality.
Awareness.
That's beautiful.
Exactly.
Well, with that though, so the 2 communities are basically separate as adults. They don't. But is there a welcomeness? There's no enmity between people. There's still a love and affection for each other. Is that think true or not? But tell me the truth here.
Well, my mom is a national treasure.
Okay.
We love our mom.
Yes.
And
I love her too.
She's lovely. Woman. And she's great. She's a hoot. But she's done a really good job. She's got a lot of Amish friends.
Okay.
And I mean, relatively speaking, more than most in Bern. And so she's had some Amish come to our church in Bern.
Definitely.
She's done some work. Like she
built a house for one of them.
She built a house, and then she had a project in Utah she was working on, and she brought the Amish. They drove out there. They never really in the mountains. And
did they not fly planes?
No, they're not allowed to fly.
Interesting.
So they
how fast did the horse go traveling out there?
They had a van. They have drivers though.
Okay.
That's the fascinating thing.
But the Amish guy, my mom, they were at Deer Valley, Utah. It's quite the juxtaposition of Amish living in Bern, Indiana. Right. And so they wouldn't get it. My mom was like, "Come on, let me take a photo. And they were very principled, no photos. So I think my dad or mom on the chairlift, they got them on a chairlift, and my parents have a photo of them, their backs. it was great. So
that is so good. Well, I'd love
if we have any Amish listening. Hey, we apologize.
No. You guys, it's beautiful. So thankful they're here in Indiana with them. Mm-hmm. And hopefully,
but they really are coming to our local church.
That's beautiful
in Bern, Indiana. And there's not just one family; it's multiple families. Mm-hmm. And so we need to keep praying for them. It's a very different faith background.
Yes. Yeah, because it's more Dutch Reformed from that. Like, being Amish is about being religious. So it's interesting they're coming to your church.
It's all religion, and the church service is every other week. And it's in a language that no kids can understand.
Right.
It's in German. No kids understand it. They just go and they go through the motions.
Yeah.
Culturally Amish.
And a relationship with the Lord at a different church would change lives and change the community.
That's right. Let's piggyback on church life now. You grew up in a Christian home. Tell us about your folks and the church environment, the home environment that you guys grew up in, and maybe throw in a fight or two along the way. You know, if you ever fought, probably not. I fought with my brothers.
No, and how many siblings do you have?
We have an older sister that lives in New York City. She's great, Sarah. Church. So yeah, my parents are passionate followers of the Lord, which I'm really grateful for, and I know David is too.
Yeah.
And they lived it out by example. And in 2001, my folks, we were going to a church in Bern, and that church is thriving now, and it's a beautiful church, great church. But back in 2001, we kind of consider, and I'll just speak for myself, but I'd say Bern was the Bible Belt of Indiana. You weren't supposed to mow on Sundays.
Really?
And, if you went jogging before church on Sunday, people in Bern might say, oh, he's missing church and going for a jog, and that's, maybe that's just what I thought. But, very, you'd wear your jacket, shine your shoes and tie your tie.
Right.
And my dad.
No baseball caps turned backwards and t-shirts.
No jerseys.
No jerseys.
No jeans, no holes in your jeans, whatever. And my dad, and mom, they had some business. They do have businesses in Bern, and one of some printing factory. My dad said, we need a church in Bern for the unchurched, and a place, come as you are. And so my dad and two of his a guy running Youth for Christ in Adams County, and another guy who's the senior pastor now. It was a total God thing, and there's more stories, layers to it. But they started a church in 2001 called The Bridge, and it's thriving now, and there's 2 locations. I bet there's 1,500 people every Sunday. And so that's seeing that my parents, put their faith into action, and it wasn't just a thing, check the box on Sunday, and go. Was really, and I think you don't realize the significance of that when you're in 5th grade, but at 32 and 27, 26, it's really inspiring, and it inspires me to, get involved, give, my time, talent, and treasure, and do that. So that's kind of the Bern. And then we traveled heavily. My parents had a thing. They wanted to show us the wealthiest parts of the world and the poorest parts of the world, and to expand our horizon. And that also, I think, seeing the world, it really enhanced my journey, and perspective on my faith journey.
That's so wonderful, Mark. David.
The church was amazing. I mean, being in a small town, you knew everybody at the church, which was awesome. And I really loved it. And that you take the pastors to lunch afterwards, and that was great. I think what Mark talked about with the trips, with the mission trips, and with, giving us the opportunity to go to summer camps and learning how to defend our faith and learning apologetics, why you believe what you believe, that, the church's people, that could be considered church as well. That really impacted my life. The church in Bern, yes, but giving us opportunities to travel, see poverty, and learn how to defend our faith. That was special.
And I think Taylor University was on my journey was really impactful.
Before we get there, just because we're about civic life, how has the Bridge or the Christian community in Bern positively impacted Bern? What does one palpably feel as a visitor, for example, when they go to Bern because of the influence there of folks loving Jesus and loving their neighbor as their self, maybe, if that's true?
Yeah, it is true. I would say and this is I have big statements. You know that, Greg.
That's why I asked, Mark.
But I think the Bridge in Bern in Adams County has put a light in Adams County and Bern, Indiana. I think if it weren't there,
it's a wonderful life.
I'm not saying there'd be darkness in Bern, because the Lord is bigger than that.
That's right.
But I think that it's a brighter light for the Lord in Bern because of that, and because of the Bridge's faithfulness.
What's one data point to support your statement there? That's really beautiful.
Yeah,
I mean, the community outreach is strong.
I also would say they do these worship nights at the Clock Tower, bringing Bern together, and that blew my mind. I go to Traders Point, and I love Traders Point.
Yes.
Traders Point just raised $100 million, and the men's night's going to have.
Thanks, David.
Yeah.
I go to I-Town. We go to different churches. Yeah.
We're trying to get him over. But I mean, the men's night at Traders Point will have 2,500 men, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
but a church that started in a Kmart building in Adams County, or actually started at school and then went to a Kmart building, you wouldn't exactly anticipate 500 or 1,000 people or 200, 300 people at the clock tower with their hands up in the air with the worship team leading worship in the summer on a Saturday evening.
Wow.
So that'd be one data point.
And Thanksgiving, turkey outreaches, and there's a lot of people that go through the trailer park in Bern and invite people to church, and just the ability to have a church of, different kinds of people and wearing jerseys and hats to church. It's a big deal. Yeah, come as you are.
Those are beautiful examples.
Yeah, I want to know, why do you guys live in Indianapolis? Why not stay in Bern? Sounds like a great community.
Okay, let's do that. I've said once before then. Tell us about family life and how you became friends, because you're best friends now. What did that journey look like through family life? And then answer Chris's question about how God brought you to
me to start?
Indy. Yeah.
David's a sweet soul, man. He's a good man, and he's so.
Just want to let the guests know that David just pulled out a $10 bill, having his brother.
Thanks. There's I love Dairy Queen. There's a Dairy Queen right here, so I'll make him buy me a dilly bar.
Go for it.
Yeah, so David's 6 years younger, and I don't have it's not like there was this aha moment where I'm like, okay, David and I are going to be friends now.
That's right.
I think it was very organic. We just did a lot of things together. I never really have a moment where I'm like, oh, he's a pain in the rear end. I can't even think of one.
I used to ask Mark what to do in every situation at all times.
But I mean, we beat the snot out of him.
That'd be annoying.
So I think he'd probably be more annoyed with me than I am with him. My buddies and I would beat the snot out of him. We'd hear, he'd be screaming downstairs in our basement. My mom was like, Mark, what's going on? How's David doing? So he got it, tough love, but we just did a lot of things together. And I think that was cultivated from my dad. I think my dad did a good job, because we're really close with my dad. We're the three amigos.
Love you.
Huey, Stewie, and Louie. But yeah, we go on golf trips together. I think you don't want to force your kids into passions. I get that as a father.
Sure.
You want to feel what they're passionate about.
There you go.
That's the podcast soundbite.
Yeah.
But as a father, it's kind of nice if your kids like to do things you like to do.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of things we loved to go on the lake. We'd water ski. We'd wakeboard. We'd golf. And I think like anything in life, time together bonds people.
Yes.
And I think that was it. And then I think David moving to Indy it's a tremendous blessing for Natalie and I and Mary Claire and Caroline, but that probably took us to another level. If he would have moved to Dallas or Chicago, because proximity does matter.
Yep.
So that was fun. And we have all the same buddies, he includes me with his buddies. I include him with mine. And it's just a big, big
we're going to dive into Indy life here, so hold that thought. But David, any other thoughts?
Yeah, I think Mark up on you. Mark was spot on. You can't underestimate the power of fun. We just have fun together.
Yeah.
It's a blast. I think that really matters. I just think it's more on Mark. He's 6 years older. It would have been easy for Mark to go, all right, I'm 6 years older. I've got my own world. I've got my own friends.
Right.
He's done an unbelievable job of bringing me into his world.
Amen.
In Indianapolis and, other circles in life. So,
but it's awesome. The abundance versus scarcity. Awesome. What's the point of my friends, my X, Y, and Z? That's a really crappy way to live. Better together. The Jack Johnson song.
Yeah,
we're so much better when we're together. Wish I could sing.
No, that's beautiful. So, to Chris's question, what brought you first to Indy out of Taylor? And then we're going to dive into life together.
It was you, Greg. I came.
Oh man, that's good. I didn't know I had
no, but
that
I mean,
swing.
I'll get into that. That was not actually a joke. It's not just you, but you asked about why not Bern, and if you're a Muselman and you want to be involved in a family business, you have to get outside experience. See, if you want a senior level position in the business, you have to get outside experience. It's just a written rule.
Right.
So my dad, I was a freshman at Taylor, and my dad said, you really can't come into my business. And I'm 18, and he said, all my richest buddies are in real estate. And when you're 18, I was love the Lord, but I wanted to go make some money.
Sure.
And he said, I won't give you any money, but I'll co-sign on a loan for you up to $100,000. And that means the bank will give you $20,000. Sorry, the bank will give you 80, but you have to bring 20,000 as a down payment. I had $2,000.
Yeah.
But so I was 18,000 short.
Right.
So there's this off-campus house at Taylor, and I'll make this quick. But 8 guys living in it, paying $400 a month, looked like Animal House. And I called the owner. I said, "Hey, I want to buy your house." He said, "Who are you?" He said, "Let's meet at Cracker Barrel." So I said, "Your house is worth $100,000. I can get you 80. Would you loan me $20,000?" He said, "No, you're crazy." So I met with him like once every other week for about 6 months. And eventually shook him down and I had the chance to buy that at Taylor. And I learned you don't have to be that smart. You have to find one thing that works well and repeat it over and over and over again.
Rinse and repeat.
And so bought a handful of college rental houses. And then
you bought your first one at 18? You were 18?
At Taylor, yeah.
Right. And then you bought
David
more.
started even younger.
Okay.
And so then went to Ball State, bought a handful down there. Senior at Taylor, it's cash flowing. But in our business, you got to reinvest. Right. So I was going to move to some big city if I couldn't find any more real estate to buy. Total God thing. Our mutual pal, Ethan Fernhaber, got connected with him in 2016. So we're a decade. Ethan is the best. We're a decade long right now of friendship. And he sold me 34 units in Anderson. So I closed on that July 15th of 2016. And booyah, I was off to the races. Not really, but
that's right.
And so I didn't want to Anderson, by the grace of God's, helped me start my business. But to answer your question, I didn't want to live in Anderson.
Right.
And so I moved here. And I think my dad also said, go move to Indy. Because I could have, I guess, lived in Fort Wayne or Bern or, and do this. But Indy's changed the game for me because of mentors. I've got a business mentor in Jeff Kittle, who I'm with a couple times a week. And other mentors, and then relationships. And I think relationships are life's currency. So this was home base. It is. It's home, and I'm not going anywhere. So, just have scaled the real estate business. Don't do any more acquisitions, and just focus on development. And just finished the development in Fort Wayne. So I'm still up in Northeast Indiana and looking at Warsaw next. Going to go to Warsaw. But Indy's home, and the people here, which we can talk about Indy after David goes, but it's changed my life, and it's a blessing. My wife loves it, and it's home. So
that's great. David, and then Chris has.
And Natalie, you moved. Natalie was in Chicago.
Oh, wow!
And you got her to come.
And she loves it here too.
I think anything in life takes 2 years.
Yeah.
So I moved here in 2016, and my parents are pretty connected here. So I thought, I'm going to know so many people.
Right.
But I realized pretty quick, those are my parents' friends.
That's right.
And they love me. If I had a flat tire, I could call them. But I'm not going out to dinner with them on Friday nights. Right. So I lived in a crappy apartment in Broad and I'm like, you know what? I had like 4 friends. And I'm like, I'm just going to focus on those 4. So I had a little party or whatever and invited those 4. I said, hey, I'll cover the pizza, bring your whatever else you want. And we had a great time. And I said, okay, next week, everybody has to bring one more friend. And so the next week we had 8. And then the following, so that's really compound interest. It's the 8th wonder of the world.
Yes.
And that's how I developed relationships in Indy. I, do the compound. And then whenever I never ate alone, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I'm actually skinnier now than I was then. But that was, and then at the end of any meeting, I'd say, hey, who would be of value for me to meet with next? And that's probably how we got connected.
That's right. Anyways, compound interest friendship. We're going to note that. David,
it's amazing.
Over here.
I'm similar. I went to Taylor. I graduated in 22. There were some other options, but I had built up my business in college, in high school and college, and it was centrally located around the state. I had an asset in Rochester and Bern, still in Hartford City. And like Mark said, relationships run the world. Yeah. And my brother and my best friend was in Indianapolis. I had a lot of Taylor friends moving to Indianapolis. I love Indiana. I think it's the greatest state in America.
It is.
Absolutely. I don't want to move to Dallas. I don't want to move to Miami. A lot of my friends from those cities, they say, "Hey, what's in Indiana?" I say, "Well, you can't talk smack about Indiana until you let me show you a weekend in Indiana." So I moved to
the Final Four.
Yeah, exactly. We host everything. It's the best. I moved to Indianapolis, and Mark has been amazing, and you have been amazing, Greg. And it's just, I don't see myself living anywhere else.
I don't either.
It's the best. It's all about people.
You helped this
It's all about
7-year-old
people.
live 30 years more because of that. I
I
want
don't
to be
know.
with you guys.
I don't know.
So, Chris, you wanted to interject.
Yeah, I got a family-related question from the audience here. So if you're watching later, you get the chance to chime in. So the last Monday of every month, we record this live. You can watch on Zoom. Sign up for the emails at citizen7indy.com. And then we air this later. We edit it and record it later. So Connor James asks for David, what are the things you appreciate most about the way Mark has witnessed to your and supported your spiritual growth? Help older siblings know what is helpful in that regard. Love the brotherhood that you guys have here.
Yeah, I could also say that David's helped me.
It's a great question. It's a great question.
Forth.
I think mostly more than anything is seeing Mark's life and learning from Mark's life, and Mark being open and vulnerable to teach me things based on his experiences in life. We love talking about anything and everything. We talk about faith a lot. We're doing a Bible plan together. I think we're a couple days behind, but we'll get back to it. But we talk about everything. I asked Mark a lot of questions about wisdom and advice for the future. Mark has walked roads that I haven't walked. He's experienced things that I haven't experienced. And so having that guy there that thinks like me and understands me and comes from the same family and lives in the same city, that's been a huge blessing. And I really believe iron sharpens iron. And that's evident. We're not perfect, but
I've got something to add to that. I think that the quicker you can understand that we all are looking up to somebody and people are looking up to us, the better. And I think that I view David and I are peers. He could say that he looks up to me. That's great, fine and dandy. But David's so spiritually strong that I admire his faith.
Mm-hmm.
And, sure, I've maybe walked some, I've got 6 more years of experience or marriage or kids, but it's fun. Intergenerational friendships are what life's all about. And what you guys, I always learn from people older than me and younger than me. So it's a real honor to have David as a brother and learn from him spiritually in every area of life.
As far as on mission, you're in similar industries.
Yeah.
Tell us about moving from Ethan into what you guys are doing. What are you guys doing together? And what are the issues that the audience will face, that we're facing with respect to housing, real estate development, real estate? Just lay that out for us so we can sort of walk with you moving forward.
Well, we're both in the multifamily apartment business. And I've learned from Mark, I've learned from my dad that we got to do a few things right. We got to rent the apartments. We got to collect the rent. We maintain the apartments. And then the last and most importantly, the thing that connects to this question is you treat the residents really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
And we view these apartments as the mission field. So if somebody has an issue, they might not call their pastor. They might not be going to a church. They might not ever want to step foot into a church.
Right.
But they call Mark.
There you go.
They call me.
Pastor Mark.
I mean, Pastor Mark, there we go. I had a resident who lost his son in high school in a tragic car accident. And just being able to walk through that with them and continue to talk to them and pray with them and use this business as a mission field. Obviously, you have to make money or it's over.
Right.
But
not a nonprofit.
But you use this and we also raise rent. We like to raise rent.
That's right.
But you use this as a mission field.
Yeah.
And Mark's done a good job of resident appreciation nights and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'll add to that.
That's great,
So I
David.
think it's twofold. David said, our business can be basic. Rent apartments, collect the money, maintain apartments. The fourth thing, those are my dad's initials too, RCM, Roger Carmen. So it's easy for us to remember. But most importantly, you've got to serve the residents well.
Yes.
And like you said, because that's in our business, and you can see in the news, evictions, landlords, greedy landlords, just file an eviction. Evictions are terrible for us.
Right.
It's a 3-month killer.
Yes.
So, because they don't pay for,
2 months.
All of March, they don't
and
pay.
then they're vacant for another 3.
Then you go, and then the court, you have another 15 to 25 days until they're out. So now you're a month and a half behind, and then they get ticked off at you. And so then they trash it out, and then you got to redo it. So it's not fun. So, I also say that, we can say that we cultivate community and do all that, but if we don't if a resident, our apartments, whether they're a new development for workforce, we call it attainable luxury, or a Section 8 property, it doesn't, or it's no different than a $6 million house in Carmel, Indiana, because that mother of the $6 million home in Carmel or the Section 8 house in Anderson, Indiana, that mom still has the same passion for her home.
Yes.
And the number of zeros on the value doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's the same passion because she still wants to host Thanksgiving for her family.
Mm-hmm.
She still wants to, wake up on Christmas morning with her Christmas tree in her home. So that's why I'm on these maintenance guys like white on rice, man, every day. Water leak. If a window's leaking, that better be fixed in 12 hours.
Yeah.
We're not bad. And if any of our residents are listening to this, they might, we're not perfect. We're giving it a heck of an effort, to be the best. But that's, as you scale, that is challenging, and so getting the right people on the bus in the right seats, going in the right direction is something we're both working our tails off on. It's not perfect. And then the other component, bringing this full circle, I'm more focused on development now. And so, what we're building, I branded it as luxury initially, and I just got blasted on Facebook because we have a washer and dryer in the bathroom. I didn't know that was a cardinal sin. But anyways, they're beautiful. They're beautiful. And so now we call it attainable luxury.
Yes.
But we have we've got Amish folks building this. We got a great building partner out of Wells County. So we can build pretty lean. And so in these markets, a downtown Fort Wayne, Indiana apartment right now is, north of $2,000.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay $2,000 for an apartment,
right.
And so I highly doubt a school teacher, or just a working class person. I know they don't want to pay that. Nobody wants to pay that.
Right.
So in Fort Wayne right now, you've got these fancy downtown Fort Wayne apartments that are rocking and rolling. So all my developer friends that are doing that, you guys are killing it.
Yeah.
Keep it up. But then your other option is low-income housing tax credits or Section 8.
Yes.
Which is a need, and we've dabbled in that.
Right.
I've got that. So we're building workforce, a market rate, attainable luxury. So our 2 bedrooms are $1,550 and bridging the gap. We're providing good amenities, a clubhouse, dog things,
hardwood floors, stainless steel appliances,
countertops. And we're really trying to, be that middleman in the market, and because we see a huge need for it.
The missing middle, you're getting it. I love attainable luxury. 1550. I need to know how you do it.
GatewayNewHaven.com. We've got a handful of vacants. So
say that again.
GatewayNewHaven.com.
Okay.
So I've got a
David needs to
I was just gonna say every city in Indiana needs housing. You talked about the housing crisis. It's unbelievable, and everybody needs this missing middle.
Right.
Like you talked about.
Right.
It's not the A class with the rooftop pool and all that stuff. And it's not Section 8. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Good amenities. Our clubhouses, you got to come up and see it.
No,
it's going to be done in like 60 days.
Okay.
I'm going to I got a little gym. I'll get a bike for you. We could do a little. I'll be on the treadmill. You'll be on the bike.
Right.
I'm gonna have a TV in there, and it's gonna be cool because it'll be a community place for people to hang. All of a cool little spot in there I can work because it is a hike. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes there. I'm doing it once or twice a week, 210, 220 there back. But
I'm coming.
Got to do it.
David, what's the issue to prevent you guys from manifesting even more your vision and mission here? What are the things the roadblocks to achieving?
I think it's just going.
Housing, attainable luxury for everybody.
Yeah, I'll add to that one.
Yeah, my dad and brother have done a heck of a start. I think it's just adding. I think it's just going. I think it's partnerships with cities, incentives with cities. I think that's a big deal. And I think just going and doing it and getting the flywheel started. And then it's rinse and repeat, like you mentioned earlier.
I'd also say our model, and there's a million ways. There's not a right or wrong way in real estate. Nobody has unlimited money. Elon Musk even doesn't have unlimited money.
That's right.
He bet the farm on Twitter and X. I think that he paid $40 billion, and he was worth 110 at the time.
Yeah,
that's a gamble. 40% of your net worth on that, and it worked out. But we're taking the path of 100% equity. So I own 100% of M2. He owns 100% of his stuff. We will have to, like I said, no unlimited money. So we'll do a deal together at some point. But so I wouldn't say we're growing slow because I'm working on Warsaw, but it's a strategic growth target markets, not getting over our skis, but I think we could build, in the next couple of years, we'll be building a couple hundred units a year.
Fantastic.
So I've got 60 done, 64 live now, working on hopefully potentially moving dirt in Warsaw end of this year. David's going to be doing Shelbyville.
Yep.
My dad's doing Columbia City. So
we need you here in Indy. I want to talk about getting you here to Indy.
And get the mayor to give us a bunch of incentives.
Right.
But that's the issue with these. So Warsaw, New Haven, Columbia City, they're hungry because and
they need it bad.
Mayor Hogsett, with all due respect, he's got the Ritz-Carlton coming. He's got the Final Four here. Like we're not even in Carmel and Fishers, like they've got so much momentum that they're not as, which that's great because it's working for them. So we'll be in tertiary markets. Even Fort Wayne, I'm on the 1 yard line of Fort Wayne, but I'm 0.3 miles from the city of Fort Wayne, but I'm in New Haven because they were more aggressive.
Right.
It's really, like Greene County's begging for people to build apartments because of Crane and all that. So Richard asks, and it applies a little bit to this, and I think you outlined it a little bit, but how do you apply redemptive philosophies and activities to your work investments? Tie your work to your faith for us, please.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
I'm going to try and be careful with what I say.
I know.
Should I just say it all, Greg?
Candid.
Candid?
Do it, Mark. Do it.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so at Taylor University, I love Taylor. It's amazing. But when I was there from 2012 to 2016, President Lindsay's changed the game. So I don't think because he studied pre-Lindsay.
Yeah.
And Taylor was great, but it's a different beast now.
Right.
There was this huge focus on redemptive entrepreneurship, which I think is great. And you and I have kind of gone back and forth on this a little bit.
That's right.
I think that tagline at times is hoity-toity.
Go.
I think it's like, okay, like you get a lot of these young folks that come out and they're like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur and I do redemptive entrepreneurship and I'm a Christian and I made $10,000 this year, and I'm going to, I gave $8,000 to the food bank. So I'm a redemptive entrepreneur. And that, I didn't like that.
Right.
And so my thing is, we're not a nonprofit. So we measure, in a worldly, we measure our success on our balance sheet for the company.
Yes.
But there's way better ways to measure that. So we've got to be the best developer that we can be. And first off, redemptive, we got to be the best developer we can be, doing it the right way.
Right.
And I think that's redemptive.
Definitely.
2, we got to make money. 3, we have to provide high quality housing.
Yes.
Like, because our work, like our tangible work is a reflection of the Lord. If we're claiming the Lord, we better do excellent work.
Right on.
So that's important.
And you got to make money, because if you don't make money, then you don't have the business.
And then
you can't treat people well.
Without a doubt.
Well, you can, but I think it's not all about money.
I think when we get to heaven someday, the Lord will say, Mark Muselman, David Muselman, how did you handle your employees? Did you show them, I get grace and truth. If they don't perform,
right.
You got to go.
Right.
But, did you push them towards their creator?
Right.
We'll be held accountable for that. And then our residents too.
Yeah.
What did you do? So we have done resident events. This clubhouse is going to be really cool. Kind of taking a page out of Ethan Fernhaber's book.
Cool.
Cultivating community.
Right.
And then I'm on like the regional board for Apartment Life, which does discipleship and evangelism in apartment communities.
Right.
But we haven't done that like explicitly like in our complexes yet because we didn't qualify for the size. But as we ramp up, my deal in Fort Wayne will be hundreds of units. So we'll get an Apartment Life person in there.
Yeah, we're going to note their website in the show notes.
Apartment Life is awesome.
Right.
Great ministry.
And then lastly, the world of the generous gets larger and larger, and the world of the stingy gets smaller and smaller.
Scarcity versus abundance.
Hands wide open compared to fist clenched. Yeah. And so you can't outgive God.
No.
And so David and I are both committed to radical generosity is something that we really are trying to apply. And I think that the kingdom of heaven will be more impacted from that than if I just said, if I only had 12 apartment units and said, "Oh, I'm a redemptive entrepreneur," and just settled at that and had that tagline. Does that make sense?
It sure does.
So and then I also, something I'm working on in 2026, I want to time, talent, and treasure. I don't just want to strike a check. I want to find, and I'm doing this, Taylor, I'm involved on a couple things where I'm actually giving my time. And so I want to make sure that I'm sacrificing time as well, outside of my business, to go all in with a small few ministries that I'm really passionate about.
Mark, that's beautiful.
I think you nailed that. I agree with Mark. I think the redemptive entrepreneurship, I love the idea, but to me, I don't want to speak for you. It sounds a little bit like the Toms, like buy a shoe, give a shoe, and
that could be good.
And it's very public. It's very public, which might inspire people and might fire people up. But I agree with Mark. It's more so we got to do these. We got to treat people well, and then we can be radically generous on the back end.
Right.
And our business. It is not a ministry. I do have to raise rent. We have to decrease expenses. But we will be able to be radically generous if we do that.
Right.
Versus not raising rent.
Well, to counter you on that, you have to be radically generous when you have nothing, it's the woman at the well, so like, that's what I challenge people. Like, I want for my girls, I want them to be generous.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Yeah. Regardless, but yeah, you get what I mean.
So 2 things before we close out, but I want 2 big areas for you guys to touch on. One, young guys, 35 under 35, and what's important about forming brotherly friendships. Okay. And then the second thing we'll get to is marriage and young guys. Marriage rates are dropping. Fertility rates are dropping. I want to hear you guys, your take on that, but let's start off with brotherhood first.
Yeah, I'll start. C7's awesome. Greg, C7's awesome. And we just started this group called C7. Great guys under 35. So if you're under 35, you got to sign up. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting on Mark's involvement. I don't know where his involvement's at on this great guys under 35. Right. He's 32, right, Chris?
Maybe not great enough for your standards.
Yeah. I got cut.
The interview process was brutal.
But we have a great schedule, and that's going to be amazing. But just in general, I think you got to be surrounded by like-minded people. On a weekly basis, on a day-to-day basis. You cannot go through life by yourself and working a job and coming home and watching Netflix. Sounds miserable.
Yeah.
People are searching for that in Indianapolis. Under 35, people are searching for a group of like-minded people, a group, of guys that love the Lord, and even not. So you got to get out and you got to be with people who don't love the Lord as well. I think that's important. So I'm excited. We have a whole schedule coming out. Thanks to you and Don.
It's beautiful. I've seen it.
A bunch of your generosity. We've got an awesome budget. We're going paintballing. We're doing a bunch of stuff, and it's a delicate dance.
I used to obliterate David with paintball guns.
It's a delicate dance between fun and amazing in-depth conversations. I think you can do it both really well.
Right.
So
to add on that, that's really well said, David.
Because you got to have fun.
The idle man and the isolated man's the devil's playground. And that's so cool what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
All right, marriage.
Yeah, we'd love to have you, Mark.
Before getting to marriage, what's it like for young single guys as brothers, though, and the dating scene? What's that like here in Indy? Or I'm just removed from that. What?
I'm removed from it too.
Mark's out of it. I've got a serious girlfriend, Madison.
Okay.
Almost 2 years, so it's amazing. I love her a lot, and so I'm kind of out of it too.
Yeah, but what's your sense of single guys here? Loneliness or friendships?
They're so scared to ask chicks out, man.
Yeah, they just got to ask.
But I think technology's hurt that. With these apps, I was PA pre-abs with Natalie because we started dating like 2018.
Okay.
So, but I think the apps, there's a cost to that. I mean, it's cool. You do hear some success stories, but I think people have to get out. They've got to, I think it's like COVID. These kids that graduated that out of college and went straight into the COVID workforce, they worked from home and they were in sweatpants and they don't work as hard from home, in my opinion. And then they, you don't meet people.
Right.
Like I think that's applicable to brotherhood with men, with dudes hanging out with dudes.
Right.
That sounded bad.
You got to get out of that. You got to get out of your apartment. You got to get out of your house.
You just have to, and I think that's how guys meet lovely ladies. You know, like it's just, if you have more friends, if you have more return on collision, it can scale.
Yeah.
It's kind of like your friends when you invite friends 4 to
Exactly.
8 to you.
Yeah, I love that. Compound interest.
Yeah,
there
man.
you go.
Eighth wonder of the world.
Okay, talk about marriage.
Yeah.
What's affecting our culture with respect to marriage, and what's some of your thoughts for the audience on young guys getting married?
Yeah. You didn't prepare me at all for what.
That's right.
It's a hard question. What is the culture? How is the culture affecting marriage? Marriage is such a blessing.
Yeah.
My wife is great. I think I realized once I got married how selfish I was.
Mm-hmm.
And then you really realize once you have kids how selfish you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I also never had a boss.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did, like I've been able to,
Yep, you've been
I've
the
kind
boss.
of been, so that's something I'm working on with the Lord. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you're Lord, I am not. Like, surrender
Yes.
and get on my knees every day. Like, Lord, guide me and lead me.
Yeah.
And so that's with marriage. I think that's, it's die to self, die to self, die to self.
Yes.
Not a lot of guys like to do that.
Yes.
And so with culture, it's a hard question. I mean, it's probably the sex, man.
Mm-hmm.
All these guys are they're getting their cake and eating it too.
Yeah.
So they're having sex all the time.
Right.
Maybe. And then
it's dropping.
and then they're not like, they're like, well, why do I need to get married? Like why would I want that commitment? And
Right.
they're seeing it as a negative when it's the most beautiful thing. And it's the most refining thing. I mean, it's Christ in the church as a husband and wife, and then kids. Kids are just such a blessing. So I'd encourage this world desperately needs, this city, this world, this state, this country desperately needs godly men to get married to godly women and have a lot of kids.
Yeah. Okay. David, you're looking forward to
I'm excited.
someday?
I don't have much to add to that. I'm
That's
not
right.
married, but
Yep.
yeah, it's a big deal, obviously.
Chris.
You go ahead. No, you're
okay.
good. Yeah.
I've heard and seen, and I've seen this to be true, that actually intimacy is decreasing because of the advent of porn used there, and AI chats, and getting your feelings out. You don't need human relationship anymore because your desires are satiated by these other artificial black holes.
That's a big epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
During COVID, they said that pornography was the biggest pandemic in society on Time. I think it was Time magazine.
Okay.
And when Time magazine, the liberal magazine, says that, so that it's tragic. So, but I mean, all these good churches in Indy, we had Traders Point yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
My folks, my in-laws, and all of us were there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot. My dad said, man, like, despite all the news and despite all the bad news, because that's what sells, right? The media, it's always the bad.
It's always negative.
Yeah, they're not talking about the beauty very often.
Right.
And when you go to Traders Point Midtown yesterday, and you see all these young people worshiping the Lord and, fully surrendered, and none of us are perfect. It's enjoying the journey.
Mm-hmm.
We all have speed bumps,
Yes.
and we all drift a little bit and have to get, back on track. But the world, I mean, the Lord is working.
Yes.
And it's like, we should have hope and joy and excitement and enthusiasm for what he's doing, because even despite the bad news, I mean, the Lord's all
and Gen Z's fired up for the Lord.
Yeah.
I think the next great revival is going to come through Gen Z.
Mm-hmm.
It's always
What's
the youth.
the age of Gen?
It
Am
really
I part of Gen Z?
No, I don't think so.
You're a founding father.
You're
a founding father.
in spirit.
You're an honorary.
I'm 42, and I grew up in the culture was Howard Stern. It was South Park. It was it was very countercultural and progressive, and it seems totally different now in so many ways for guys your age, where it is go to church.
Yeah, and people are open to. I think I don't know the stat. 7 or 8 out of the 10 people you ask to go to church will actually come. They're open to attending church if we invite them.
Right.
So
You just nailed it with that.
We have to invite. Like, it's like people are open more than ever.
Yep.
But it's up to us.
They need a welcome.
It's up to us if we're going to
You know
do
what?
it or
And
not.
that's a challenge for everybody listening.
Yep. Go for it.
Like, always just invite people. People say yes.
Yeah.
Like, none of us, like, don't ever be bashful for saying, hey, you come to church. Like, I've done that a lot of times, and it's been really cool, and people have loved it. But make sure you buy their lunch after.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. People always love that.
That's why I'm giving a plug for James Payne, who's coming to Citizen 7, talk about unreasonable hospitality. Because we want to build courageous men who are not afraid of inviting anybody into their presence.
And you got to be the doer. We got to be the doers.
We got to
be
go
the inviters.
That's right.
You got to be the rally. That's what we were talking about. David and I, that's not to sound conceited, but we do a really good job of rallying the troops. Like I think that's another bonding, a brotherly bonding thing we have. We both love to, bring people together, and
host. Yeah.
And host. You've got to, and that's important. Unreasonable hospitality is critically important, in sharing the gospel.
That's beautiful.
It's a spiritual gift and
100%.
muscle that needs to be built, that all of us could work on building.
As you guys travel around the nation, what are you sensing in America? You've been traveling a little bit, and Mark, a bit relative to what's happening here in Indy that may differentiate us in the future as we try to sort of be a city set on the hill compared to what's happening around the country.
I haven't lived in other cities, but I know Indianapolis is unique with the people in the community.
Okay.
Mark has a great metaphor about accessibility versus large cities. I think you should say that. But it's just like the access and the accessibility of Indianapolis. And if I text Greg to grab coffee, hey, I really need wisdom, there's a good chance that you're gonna text me back.
That's right.
With some effort,
keep saying good stuff,
with some persistence. You can do just about anything.
Yeah. Nothing's original, so this isn't coming from me, but somebody told me this once, that in a city you have accessibility and opportunity.
Okay.
So in New York City, they say anything's possible in New York. The opportunity is so high in New York City, but your accessibility is so low. Chicago, a little bit less maybe, but Indianapolis, I think, is the greatest city in America for, we're not all the way high, but accessibility and opportunity. They're both right here. You can get with anybody you need to. People are willing to drop, and especially in our business, because there's such a large multifamily presence here. And the cool thing is, everyone in the multifamily space is so gracious to young guys like us.
Yeah, like Ethan,
Kittle, Burge,
Paul Thrift.
You go down the list. Right. All of them are amazing, and they said there's enough for everyone. And I think that abundance mentality is just fantastic. My one thing with Indy is we got to keep our foot on the gas. And we can't let up.
Speed City.
Yeah, Dave Knapp, shout out. And I was talking to Marcus Hall, is a good buddy of mine, and he was in Detroit for a YPO event. And he met with the mayor and everything, and he was telling me, I was like, so what's going on in Detroit? This was probably 6 months ago. He probably forgets even telling me this. But he said they're so on fire. And he said, I don't think, I don't even know what, I could guess what political party the mayor was a part of, but that's neither here nor there.
Right.
And he said that because they were in such a dark place, Detroit, when all the automotive left, that they've just doubled down. Dan Gilbert, the billionaire, helped a lot, but they had their back against the wall. And so they just created so much momentum. So when your back's against the wall in anything in life, it's easier to put your foot on the gas. So my only challenge was, we've always been pretty good, like Indy's we have a lot of the events, the All-Star Game, Final Four, we got the 500, and all that, which is amazing. But I think we can't get complacent.
Nope.
And we've got to put our foot on the gas to keep going.
Right on.
We need to keep the NFL Combine. We need to do a bunch of all that stuff. Keep getting the Final Fours and foot on the gas. Never get complacent.
And that's great for guests. But the residents, too, need to know that this is going to be the joy capital of the world. But every resident needs to pitch in. Palpable joy in every home, every street, regardless of socioeconomic status, school system, whatever. That's what we need to keep pushing for. Is that metric, that realization of love. The fruit of the Spirit is love. Joy is the first attribute.
100%.
Mentioned. David, tag on to that. Why are you at Polk? What are you seeing at
I love Polk.
Okay.
I love
Not
Polk.
to give Polk test, but you're in a
hey, what's
there.
Polk Stable?
Hey, we want to hear it. Mark needs a little more involvement in the young adults. He needs to move down to Polk Stables, right? So Polk is it's a co-working space, and Greg was actually one of the developers of it, and it's unbelievable. And the last few months, especially, has been even better. with the transfer, all that stuff. Anyway, whatever.
Tell us more.
Mark's like, tell us more.
Yeah, fill us in.
No, it's just no. I'm scared. Whatever. But it's really people coming together,
Right.
working together.
Right.
Black and white,
Hard tech, soft
Mexican,
tech, no tech.
yeah.
Right.
Of course, it's awesome.
Yes.
It's
High
awesome.
school
and
hustle.
It's great community.
High school hustle story. Hunter was in your office and decided to get his own office.
Absolutely.
So
That
tell us,
high school
what'd you
hustle is
do?
going to change the city.
give us a blurb on high school hustle, because that's
Yeah.
coming out of Polk.
Peter and Scott and Hunter are doing an extraordinary job.
Yeah.
And I think it's so cool because every entrepreneur, and I know that we're not here just to talk about business, but Dave and I love business. And so every entrepreneur I've ever met that's had an awesome career has had some form of a startup.
Yeah.
Some
For
form.
sure. Especially when they're younger.
Maybe not even a startup, some hustle where they just went crazy on selling something and made some money.
Mhm.
So Scott, Peter, Hunter, they're doing this in Indy, going to all the high schools and just inspiring sweaty startups. So power washing, car detailing,
Mowing, landscaping.
mowing. I mean,
These kids, one kid last summer knocked on 10,000 doors and made $60,000 in a summer. I mean, it's unbelievable.
way.
And without the opportunity there, it's like, it just gets delayed, right?
and then I think the cool thing is too, and it's all socioeconomic classes, races, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And they're also pairing these kids with good mentors.
Mhm.
So a sophomore in high school that makes 60 grand, without good mentorship, that could go one of two ways.
Right.
You might see a brand new tricked out F-150 with a subwoofer,
Right.
or you'd see that 60, turn into 120 to 180. Sorry,
That's right.
240.
Compound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's beautiful.
it's really
They're
cool
rocking
what
it.
they're doing.
Yeah. I love it.
Chris, any questions there before we go to some final
No,
thoughts?
I give
from
final
yourself?
thoughts, please.
Okay, yes. Close us out with sort of your sense of your lives together, maybe some points of vulnerability even that have meant a lot to you and sort of animated your life and catalyzed your life as to what your future journey might be. Any closing thoughts for the audience here?
Well, I'll start. I'm just thankful. I'm thankful for Mark. I'm thankful for you, Greg. Being in Indianapolis with you guys has been one of the best things ever. And surrounded by people who actually care about you and actually love you and don't just, text you when they need something, but text you on a Tuesday night to get dinner. It's fantastic. Mark and Natalie being in Indy, I live 5 minutes down the road. It's one of the biggest blessings of my life. I can stop in and see his girls and Mary Claire and Caroline and Natalie. And it's unbelievable. And I don't know. I'm just thankful. I'm grateful. I'm thankful for Mark. I think the sky's the limit. I think we're, best friends. We don't own anything together. It doesn't mean we won't in the future, but I think it's a great way to do it. And, yeah, I love it. I'm super honored. And I really think anything's possible.
I bet you're the best uncle in the world, Uncle David.
Uncle D.
David
That's
is an
right.
extraordinary
Uncle
uncle.
D,
They
yes.
love Uncle D. D.
Oh, warms my heart. Mark.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, sure.
I'm bullish on Indianapolis. I'm bullish on workforce market rate apartments across the state. And the sky is the limit. And David is, my best friend. And it's fun. It is a great blessing that we both live so close. And I think the quicker you can find out what you want to do with your life, the better. And it's such a blessing that David and I vocationally, or really in anything, but like where you want to live vocationally, and we both know what we're going to do. And so now it's just go execute. So I think that creates a lot of freedom and that creates a lot of joy. Like, okay, we found out what we want to do. So now go do it. And Indy's been amazing. It's just such a special place with extraordinary people. And I'm really just grateful in this season. I'm grateful for my wife and our community here. Feel like we've got the best friends in the world. And that takes work, And so for those listening, it's not like we don't have this perfect little life with the best community. Like, no, anything in life is hard work. And so I'm just, just go grind it out, and just go, to pursue the Lord relentlessly, make him king and not me. And just go chip away, eat dirt and keep marching and carry water uphill and let's go. So thank you.
Well, in closing, I just wanted to thank you personally for welcoming me into your lives together. You have both really just welcomed me with joy. And as an older guy, I don't often get that, from guys your generation. You're so hospitable to me, the love you've shown me. What I see between you guys, and again, that's why I wanted you here, because there's something palpable here. And I truly respect and love you guys. And, I got to know your folks a little. I invited them to the National Prayer Breakfast.
Did they skip a lot of the sessions or something?
They did.
They did?
Because they had visits to congressional offices and others, but that's okay. I forgave them because your folks are rock solid. They're the best. And so now I just want to challenge our audience is that this isn't just one generation. This is God's faithfulness through imperfection. None of us, but through family, inheritance, and privilege. I grew up dirt poor, but I count myself the most privileged of all people growing up because of the love in Christ that my folks showed me. Amen. And that's very evident in your family. And now you're able to pass it down to these two little darling girls.
It's cool.
But not just to your families, but it spreads from outside your family into Polk Stables, into the city, into Fort Wayne, into Rochester, wherever you guys are. I know that this state is being permeated with the love of Jesus because he's brought the Muselmans with their vision. They're so deeply
Thank you, Greg.
Appreciation and love for you two guys.
With
that, I'll turn it over to Spangle to lead us home.
All right. Thanks so much for watching us here on Big Hearted Indy with the Muselman brothers and Greg. And we are so appreciative that you spent some time with us. And if you found this valuable, please share it. That is a great way to promote the podcast and promote their work and the work of Citizen 7. You can find out about all the events that are taking place, of which there are many coming in the coming months at citizen7indy.com. It's the number 7. Please go check that out and sign up for the email list. And if you see an event pop up in that email list, you better sign up quick because things are moving fast. Yes. And you can find out about great guys under 35. We'll put a link to the webpage there in the show notes and get involved with David. And not Mark, apparently.
He'll be there.
One day
He'll
Mark
be there.
will be there.
He'll be there. He'll be there.
Now that he's acknowledged he's under 35, he's in.
We need to get, Neff and me need to get great guys around 45 going.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us here on this episode of Big Hearted Indy.